What's up, everybody? Well, I got another FIREBAT mini PC gameplay video for you guys today, and today we're checking out Endless Suburbia, and it's definitely been able to get playable FPS, usually at 900p and 720p. High has not done great on anything so far, so I'm not expecting anything great here either. Still try it out, unless it's gonna be like 9 FPS or something, then we'll just probably skip it. But regardless, why don't we go ahead and hop on in and let's see what it's willing to do.
Alright, we'll just do what we do in the Allies and do 1080p high, and if it's anything like the Allies, this is not going to be very playable, but I'll still get some gameplay. And then we'll move on to the settings that actually are a lot more playable. 900p medium gets you pretty much 30 FPS everywhere, and then if you do put it down to 720p low, you can get like 60 almost everywhere. But hey, let's go and get in the game and you'll see what I mean. Well, once we get done with this slowness anyway. So now for 900p medium, which gets us much more playable FPS. Not 60 plus everywhere, but much more playable FPS. Though it will drop under 30 here and there, but at least it's over 30 more than it's under. And that's all you can really hope for if you want 900p and medium on a system like this. If you want lots of FPS, then low and 720p is your friend on a machine like this. But hey, let's get into the game. Alright. 720p low now. And definitely your best bet for FPS. It doesn't do quite as good as the Allies, but it's not too far behind. Sometimes this thing even jumps ahead because of the extra wattage, but most of the time it's in between the Steam Deck and the Allies. But now we get to gaming.
get ourselves some camera recorded gameplay now. I'm kind of just sitting cross-legged on the floor using a keyboard and mouse because that's what this game was designed for. Ah, yeah, this is the one that takes a really long time. You get like, I think you get like starting to get followed by people. And now I have sound, so maybe I have more of an idea what the hell's going on. I don't know if they were trying to shoot me, just hit me, or what the hell is going on. But it starts out as a just chill night. Oh, and you can also tell a huge difference between the resolutions when you're on a bigger screen. I mean, I can still tell a little bit of a difference, but I'd rather have the FPS. This one, I don't know. I might go back to medium if I was on this system. Or, what's probably honestly the best is just sit there and fiddle with settings until you get the exact stuff you want. Like, have some stuff on low, have some stuff on medium. Who knows? You might even be able to get away with something high if you don't care about 60 plus. But at the same time, I don't know. This kind of graphics kind of gives it, I don't know, still a nice look to me. Just riding around and Endless Suburbia, getting chased by giant spiders, getting abducted by aliens, you know, on a normal Friday night. At least now, this makes it so much easier to like look around. I mean, yeah, obviously you can look with a thumbstick, but it's like, at least on the Lenovo, it was like, and who wants to play like that? That's friggin' lame. When you can just do it all nice and smooth, you can look at every little thing in your car. And I can keep going straight while doing it. But for some reason, it feels like the thing is driving slower with just the keyboard than it did before. I don't know. It's probably just placebo. Oops. Come on, car. You can do it. You can make the turno. I believe in you. Alright, he's back now. He wasn't there for a second. I was like, what the hell? Did crashing get rid of him? But no, he straight up just disappeared for a second. Yeah, they definitely made the ambiance music fucking... Or the music makes the game have quite the ambiance. I mean, I'm stoned. So I might just misspeak here and there. It'll happen. And by the time I'm done with all freaking systems, I'll be probably insanely stoned. But hey, if you take a hit before you start every video, it doesn't take very long to get stoned. And at the end of each one too. But hey, whose idea was that? Mine. And it does help. Definitely helps out with his social anxiety. But unfortunately, when you're this blazed, you can't really go anywhere. I had a guy do that to me before. I guess I wasn't going fast enough for him. Even though I was going like 10 over. So he kept trying to do that to make me go faster. I just went slower. And then I know it was childish, but when he tried to pass me, I just gunned it and didn't let him. And then just like turned down the next road. It was a little Toyota Tacoma. Not a bad truck at all, but it wasn't gonna out accelerate my Raptor. At least not that one. Maybe the brand new ones would probably wreck my Raptor in a race. Because they're probably all hybridized and turbodized and all that stuff now. But this one was like an old 90s one. There ain't no way. Not like my Raptor's a freaking insanely fast car. It's basically a freaking old school muscle car, to be perfectly honest with you. It gets about the same 0 to 60, about the same quarter mile. It's basically a truck muscle car from like the 60s, 70s. Which is more than fast enough for me. But it's definitely not going to break your neck. Even my Lincoln makes it seem really slow, and my Lincoln isn't exactly a super fast car by today's standards either. More than enough for me to have fun in, but, I mean, a little Tesla Model 3, not even the performance would probably shit on me from a stoplight to stoplight, which is my favorite thing to do. But I'm gonna get rid of that and either get a Jaguar, F-Type R, or possibly even better yet, I might just go get me a muscle car. I miss my Trans Am, to be honest with you. That thing wasn't the nicest looking car at all. It looked like a pile of shit, but it was kind of fun to go and own a $30,000 Mustang GT with it. And I don't just mean like beat. I dominated those things. That thing had a 383 single track racing motor in it. Now, it wasn't making as much horsepower as it could, because it was supposed to have, God, what do they call it, like a 750 double pumper. But they took that off and put like some Edelbrock 650 on there. So, I mean, I don't know how much power it lost from doing that, but I mean, that's over 150 less. So you'd think that would make a pretty decent difference, but I don't know, maybe that's only like a 10 horsepower difference. I'm not like super adept when it comes to cars, but I generally know more than the average person since my stepdad's a mechanic and all. And my real dad was an engineer who worked for Ford. And then my grandfather was an inventor and an engineer. And a plethora of other things. Master certified mechanic as well. Although this was way back in the day. I'm sure that certification like lapses after you don't go renew it after a while. But he had that way back in the day when he was probably my age. If you had you could get your car fixed and there was still like a restaurant. And if I remember correctly, he had Michelin stars. So that was pretty cool. Bastards. You guys are mean. I've given you ample opportunity to pass me and you won't take it. Yeah, this would definitely be like a what the fuck moment. Though truth be told, I would not be driving at like 20 miles an hour. I would have been hammering that shit and been like, you guys are in SUVs, I don't care. I mean, you might get me in the straights, but I'd just start making corners left and right, and eventually they wouldn't be able to keep up with me. In fact, they'd probably bust their wheel out on a curb or something. Now, if it came to off-roading, they'd probably kick my ass. Although, a lot of modern-day SUVs just seem like they're basically normal cars on stilts. Kind of like my old Escape. My old Escape felt like a Taurus on stilts. It didn't feel like my Explorer, which was basically a V8 all-wheel drive version of a Ranger that just happened to have a built-in seating and a cab. But that's basically all it was a Ranger. Expedition was basically an F-150, and then Excursion was an F-250. That's all they really were at the end of the day. Just more meant for passengers rather than hauling. Hell, I still wouldn't mind like a Beater Expedition, but hell, all those old cool badass cars that I used to think of Beaters are now all worth like a decent amount of money unless they're a rust bucket, and I don't want another rust bucket. If I get another Beater, it'll probably be like a $8,000 to $10,000 like just old. If I can find one, an old version of my old Explorer. That thing was a tank. The only reason I got rid of it was because it was starting to get up there in miles, and I just kind of got bored. I wanted a new car. I should have just kept it though. It was way better than that shitty Escape I got. Oh shit. I got plowed into by a truck. And with that, I say we wrap up the video. Well, alright guys, that's a wrap for Endless Suburbia on the FIREBAT Mini PC. And while it cannot handle high, didn't expect it to. The Allies and all the other systems didn't really handle that either. Medium though, gave us very playable FPS. It might drop under 30 here and there. That might have just been due to recording, but there was one part where it went down to 26, which had probably been like a 28, 29 had we not been recording. But still, more than playable for a lot of people. And then if you want 60 plus, you can just go with low. It doesn't look great all blown up on a system like this. It didn't really look that bad compared to high on a little tiny screen. I mean, I noticed a difference, but not this big of a difference. different. But hey, if you have a weaker system like this hooked up to a 4K TV like I do, well then hey, that's what you're gonna have to deal with. Otherwise it's just not gonna run well. And forget about running a game like this at 4K. That'd probably be like, well, A, it would crash. It did that at 1080p high. It crashed at the end of the game. It didn't even let me continue the level, so that's why I had to do the Alien one again at 900p. But it is what it is. So with that said, it's time to wrap up. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. And until the next video, peace out, guys.